Bushmills is one of the world's best known distilleries, so stay tuned as I explore their 10-year-old single malt and give it a rating. Welcome whisky lovers, I'm Big Al and this is Whisky Straight, where I review whiskies from all over the world and give you my thoughts, straight up and not watered down. So today we're up in the lovely north coast of Antrim region to take a look at the 10-year-old single malt from Bushmills, one of the most famous names in the world of whisky. And as many of you will know, Bushmills pride themselves on being the oldest licensed distillery in the world. So this particular bottling here will set you back about 35 quid, but I, as I tend to do at times, got it in the bargain for 27, and I've given it a bit of time to get down through it, let it open up a bit and see how it develops. So now that we're near the end of the bottle, it's time to give it a review and see what my thoughts are on it. Now this 10-year-old is made from 100% malted barley. Unsurprisingly, it's triple distilled and then it's matured in bourbon and Oloroso sherry casks. So that really should be right up my street. So if you've got a bottle of this, sit back, pour yourself a dram, and we can go through it together. Sláinte. So let's start off with the nosing. Right off there's honey, vanilla, but those notes, they're very light and gentle. It's like you have to get right down into the Glencairn almost before you're really picking up any sort of depth of flavour, and even then it's still very light and subtle. Now it's getting a wee bit floral, just a touch of floral note come in, and then right popping through on the back of that, showing itself is the bit of sherry. Obviously that's the Oloroso casks coming into play. Now I'm getting some chocolate, but it's even lighter really than the rest of the flavours, and they are light as well. And there's a bit of vanilla coming in with that, but it's like it's just a dusting over the top of the other aromas, and it's not really overly pronounced. You really have to get down in there and hunt for it, so to speak. But that said, as you sort of draw away again from the Glencairn, the chocolate does become a wee bit more pronounced. And then the sherry note comes through again. But all in all, the nose, it's very subtle, it's very light. It's actually probably what I would refer to as delicate. But it's not unpleasant, it's actually quite nice, but it is very light, very delicate. So let's get right on in and have a taste. Sláinte. Vanilla. Straight off vanilla. Quite pronounced vanilla at the start. Much more than was apparent on the nosing. And then there's honey comes in too, but it's like a honey spice, but it's a very gentle, light spice. Just a tad warming, and you really wouldn't expect anything too hot at 40% ABV, which is what this is bottled at. So let's go for a second sip. There's still some light honey type spice going on there. A touch of vanilla again, but not as apparent as on the first sip. And I'm also getting a touch of lemon, but it's not lemon as in freshly squeezed lemon or even like a lemon peel or lemon rind or anything. It's more like an artificial type of lemon that you might get in a packet of sweets or something like that. And it's a bit drying too on the palate. Now it's changing quite a bit. The gentle spiciness is gone, and it's a bit burny now. It's a bit of wood. It's like an influence from the casks, but it's not like a toasty wood. It's like a burnt wood, and to tell the truth, it really is a tad bitter, and not altogether completely pleasant. But now as it starts to fade, it's leaving like a burnt ash taste in the mouth, and it's actually like there's a burning or ashy embers across your palate. And it's not something that's doing anything for me, put it like that. So we'll go again, give it another chance. Now, burny ashy stuff's still there. There's a bit of orange poking through now as well, but unfortunately the orange doesn't raise the ash, doesn't make it brighter or anything like that. It's like the ash drags the orange down, and the orange is bitter, it's burny, and it's not pleasant. On the finish, it's not overly pleasant. It's burny. That ashiness is still there. It's like it dries out the palate. It's bitter, and it leaves a very dry mouth with bitter notes. And the only really good thing I can say about the finish is it doesn't last too long, so those bitter, nasty notes fade quite quickly, thank God. So to sum up, it's not really my thing. I've done the distillery visit probably 14, 15 years ago, and while it was a great experience at the time, I remember doing the tasting at the end where they put out, I think it was 5 different expressions, and this one came bottom of the pile for me. Now, and I was only really starting to get into whiskey then, and that sort of put me off because I could always remember that drying feeling on the palate. But I have had it now and again over the intervening years, and all those times it really hasn't done much for me. But I always advocate going back to drinks that haven't overly impressed you at the start, because as you get more experience, as you try more whiskies, your palate develops, and sometimes you can go back to something that you weren't overly fussed on at the start and be pleasantly surprised that that's maybe not so bad as you thought it was. But it has happened to me in a few cases with other drinks, but it's not happening to me with this one at all. It's this, how can I put it? It should tick all the boxes for me. You've got the bourbon cask, you've the Oloroso sherry, and as you all know, if you've been following my videos, I do like my sherry bombs. I do like a big heavy hit of the sherry, but there's very scant sherry influence from the Oloroso casks in this, and not a whole big pile from the bourbon ones either for some reason. And the main influence that I can get from any of those casks is just that bitter, burny, ashy note, and it's not very pleasant. Now, don't get me wrong, it is drinkable. It has, over those intervening years, gone slightly up in my estimation, but not enough for me to recommend it in any way or rave about it. It's like Coca-Cola without the fizz. There's no pizzazz. There's nothing in there that grabs you and gives you a shake. It's bland. It's no personality. There's nothing that just makes you want to pour another one or even go out and buy another one. It just doesn't do it for me. It's mediocre at best, in my opinion. I much prefer the 1608, which is the entry level blend. The Black Bush, oh, it's far, far better than this. It's the next one. Even the Red Bush, which is the newest introduction, far, far better than this. It just, whatever way it's been done, it doesn't float my boat. It doesn't tick any of my boxes at all. And you know what? It's just so bland and mediocre. I think the best score I could possibly give it is a 78. And I know that's not great. Well, there's probably going to be people that will disagree with me, but you know what? It's subjective. It just doesn't do it for me. So if you've had this and you think differently than me, or you agree with me, pop a comment in down below and we can get talking about it. That said, I'm not having to go with the Bushmills brand or the distillery or anything, because I do enjoy those entry levels. I do enjoy the 16 and the 21 here, which are very, very good whiskies. And but for some reason this one in the middle just, it's the bland spot for me, I'm sorry to say. So as always, everything to do with anything in this review, the links are all down below in the description, so you can have a look down there if you want to check out the website or anything like that. So please like, subscribe and share to spread the love, and until the next time, and hopefully a much nicer whiskey, please look after yourselves and drink your whiskey the way you like it. Sláinte.